So, raise your hand if you've noticed that I haven't actually used my laptop in the last year. Because it's been broken this whole time, yeah. Hello, my name is Hannah and I've been teaching people how to use YNAB for about 4 years here on YouTube. I love it, you love it, we all love it, but I realized that I actually have not ever just started from a blank scratch budget and worked it out into a real budget, start to finish, ever on here. On YouTube. In my life, yes. On the internet, no. I'm going to build this budget based on our actual lives, like the expenses that we really have, but I'm not gonna use real numbers because we're not that close. I'll just randomly generate some numbers, make stuff up as we go. First thing first that I will say, if you are a brand new YNAB user, you've just set up your account and you haven't even started setting up a budget yet, you will actually be taken through an onboarding process on our online app. You're gonna start with a quiz. It's gonna ask some things about yourself. Do you own your home? Do you rent? What are your hobbies? What do you like to spend your money on? And the results from that quiz are gonna help generate your categories in your spending plan. It will then walk you through an onboarding process. There are 3 main steps: how to add targets to your categories, adding your accounts, and assigning money out to your categories. So if you are new, stick to that onboarding process, finish it out, and then you can edit your spending plan however you want. But if you've been around for a while and you just wanna see me create a spending plan from total scratch, start to finish, you're in the most luck today. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna start by logging into YNAB, obviously. We are going to create a new spending plan. We'll call it Totally Real Monies. You can always adjust the currency, number format, date format, however fits you and your brain. When you start a new spending plan, YNAB is just gonna generate a generic layout for you. It's gonna have some common category groups, common categories to help just kind of spur your thinking, inspire you. But one important step that I wanna point out, always start by creating your categories first. Don't worry about adding your accounts, and definitely don't be assigning any money out to these categories until we have our spending plan made. So first things first, I'm gonna close all these so I can see what our category groups are. I like to have more fun than this. Frequent, not fun. We're gonna change that. This is so goofy, but I really just like to make my category group names in capital letters because it helps separate them from the lowercase category. Yeah, that's not a big thing, but it's just the way my brain works. And of course, we're adding emojis. If you're using a Mac, then it's Control-Command-Space is how you pull up your emoji keyboard. I'm gonna give this a money bag because you know most of our money goes to bills. Now, let's see. I don't like the word frequent. Sounds stuffy. I change it to flexible. And of course, it's a girl in a yoga pose. You can also call it flexi because that's more fun. I am gonna change. I like the word goals, that's good. Let's see, we'll go star-eyed goals. Actually, I changed my mind. I like savings better, okay? Now, this is where we differentiate a little bit. I generally put everything with a due date with a generally consistent cost into my bills category group, and everything else that's just like groceries, gas, like the everyday things of life, that goes into flexi because some months you spend like $200 on gas and sometimes it's $400. So that's just where we put all that stuff. From here, I get a little more specific. So actually, I just lied. I just realized we have our own groceries category. Let's give that a carrot. You do not need to do it this way, but I like doing it this way. We give our dog Julep her own category because she has a lot of, we give her own category group because she has a lot of categories. We also have a category group for the baby boy, and we're just gonna call him baby boy. And what else? I like to create a category specifically for my subscriptions, because even though they are technically bills, we have so many little ones that we actually pay annually. So it just makes me feel better to have all our subscriptions in one group. Now you can sort these out however you want. I think ours literally is bills, flexi, groceries, baby boy, julep, subscriptions, savings. I think that's how it goes. Now, also in our household, we create our own fun money categories. I have a whole video on this if you want to see why we do that. So I'm gonna add these to the plan as well. Great. Move these to the bottom. I don't know why we put them at the bottom. Just, I don't know. That's where they've always been. Now we can expand all our categories, close them all with this little carrot guy. So I'm just gonna start by brainstorming all our bills off the top of my head. But we don't have a rent, we pay mortgage. We have an electric bill, a water bill. We have natural gas, whoops, which I usually just call gas, but I don't know, I feel like I need to be professional right now. Okay, we have an internet bill, we have a phone bill. Actually, it's killing me inside that I haven't added any emojis. Let me just emojify these real quick. For some reason, we have a tent as our mortgage emoji. I don't know, my husband. He's a fun guy, okay? He's a fun guy. So let me think through what else we have here. In my head, there's a definite hierarchy of bills. Mortgage is always on top. Then it's all the utilities for the house. Then it's basically everything else, internet, phone bill. Now I'm trying to think without actually peeking at our real budget what else we have in our bills category. It might come to me later throughout the video, but I know it's more than this. I can't actually think of anything right now, so we're just gonna keep moving on. To our flexi category, so I'm gonna delete groceries because we have our own groceries category group. Eating out, yes. Transportation, we drive our own cars, so we call this gasoline because, you know, we're not using a bus. Now, our flexi category is very fleshed out. We have a lot of stuff in here. So we have a category for health, where we get supplements, electrolytes, any, you know, medicine, anything we need. We have one for haircuts. Sure, we'll go with this guy. We have one for, oh no, what do we have? What do we have? I stare at my budget literally all the time and now I can't remember any categories. We have one for fun and outings, because sometimes when you want to go on a date night or like you just want to go out, I don't know, and rock climb and you're like, what do we actually take this out of? We didn't have anything, so now we have fun and outings. That's actually a relatively new category. It took us that long to figure out that we should add it. Man, I thought I was gonna do this off the top of my head, but I can't even remember what we spend our own money on. And let me give this as a word of encouragement. It takes a long time to figure out what your spending plan should include. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't think of anything besides these generic categories that it already came with, that's totally fine. Okay, I got everything for my bills. Only thing that I'm forgetting is some giving that we do, and it's a monthly giving situation. Here we go. We'll call it this. Move that to the bottom. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna be cooking with gas. So we also have a category for hospitality, because you know when you have to go to an event and you need to bring a veggie tray and you're not gonna eat any of the veggies, but you still need to bring it and you don't want it to come out of your groceries? You know, you just want to bring something, but it's not dining out and it's not groceries. Or maybe you're hosting people for dinner, so you're buying like double the groceries you normally buy. You can categorize it to hospitality instead. We also have an espresso machine at home. God bless that espresso machine. We love it so much. We buy espresso beans like every 2 weeks. So we just added a category for it because it is a very consistent expense in our life. It's about the same every time, about $20 per bag every 2 weeks. So like, why wouldn't we make a category for that? It's coming out of somewhere. It might as well come out of its own category. Next, my husband competes in disc golf tournaments. You guys are so tired of hearing about disc golf all the time, but it is, YNAB's kind of a special group. Disc golf, also a special group. So this is the category he uses to fund entering his tournaments or stuff like that. If he buys discs or things for disc golf for his own hobby part of it, that comes out of his fun money, but him being able to compete and play tournaments is a priority for us as a family, so we made a category for it. We also have a category group for household goods. Paper towels, toilet paper, what? When you, like, where does that come from? It comes from household goods, now you know. We also have personal care because shampoo, all that, I don't know. Again, there's so many things that you just never think about, how is this quantified? How is this classified? Until you're trying to categorize it in your spending plan and then you realize that it probably just needs its own category. Now here's another, just like we break out disc golf tournament fees for Mac, we also break out makeup for me because I was spending all my fun money every month on replenishing my makeup. I like to buy cleaner, non-toxic stuff and it's pricey. So Mac was like, you should not have to spend all of your fun money on that. So let's just give you your own category. I get a little stipend for it every month, if you will. And it's great. It makes me better at not just splurging on buying whatever random makeup I want whenever. It helps me kind of rein in a little bit. So if you have categories like that where you realize your partner is spending all their fun money on this one thing that isn't really for fun, it's like kind of a necessity, maybe you break it out into its own category. And that's pretty much it for this category. We also just have your generic miscellaneous. I hope to the good Lord above that I spelled that right, but there's no time to look it up, so. And A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, and this is so dorky, but I do put this in alphabetical order. So let's play a little game. How fast can Hannah alphabetize knowing that people are watching her? I think that's right. Okay, there we go. We're gonna go back through and add targets in a little bit, but for now, we're cruising. Okay, so now to our groceries category. This is how we do. Why do we do it this way? Honestly, I don't know. I started doing it this way and now I can't stop. I'm obsessed. So we give ourselves a category for each week of groceries. It just helps me get a clearer visual of how much we're actually spending every week. Of course, you could do one generic groceries category and set a weekly target to it, and that will help you also visualize. Have we spent more than a week's worth so far? How are we doing compared to the month? But I just like how granular and how easy to read this is. I call it 1st through the 7th, but I put the dates in parentheses and I will show you why later. That's actually a pretty helpful thing to do. Okay, and this last category does cover more than 7 days, obviously, but we end up just budgeting more to that category in the end. Next, for our baby boy, we have the classics. Child care. We have a sitter come over while I work from home. It's great. We specifically budget for diapers because diapers and wipes, that is, if you're considering having a child and you don't have enough for diapers and wipes, maybe you slow down. That is an expense, especially if you're trying to get cleaner, more non-toxic stuff like we like to do. It adds up. Now, baby stuff, because honestly, babies need so much stuff and we still are not adding enough to this category, not nearly enough, but it's kind of our catch-all for when we need to buy new, I don't know, dishes for him, new sleepers, new gear, a snot sucker, pacifiers. There's so many things. And you probably don't need most of it, but I also am so in love with him that I will buy him the world if it were on sale. Baby boy actually has been given his first Christmas check. So he has his own basically piggy bank where we deposited that check and we put it into his category because that's his money from great grandma. We do not want him to lose that. And lastly, this is a saving type thing, but we need to upgrade him to a bigger car seat because we were blessed with a long boy. And so we're gonna try to get that soon. And this is a savings category that will eventually go away once we buy it, but that's in there for now. Julep. This girl has her own whole category group. Okay, so first, Julep goes not as much as she used to, but Julep does go to doggy daycare. Pup supplies is for treats, toys. We have a category group just for her dog food, which we have on subscription every month from Chewy. So I could put that in our subscriptions category, but since it's dog related, it's just easier to find it in the Julep category, obviously. We board her whenever we go on trips. Of course, you have to be saving up for the vet. We also budget year round for her heartworm meds, not because they're super expensive. It's like $60 every time we get it, but mostly to keep it on our radar. Because if I don't, I will forget. And we're also saving up right now to get her first teeth cleaning, which I've heard is very expensive. We'll put the fun stuff up at the top and the scary stuff at the bottom. Perfect. Now, just to tidy this up, I will close these categories and we're gonna open our subscriptions. Now, subscriptions is whatever you subscribe to, obviously. I'll just real quick fill out what we have. There are a few other subscriptions in there, but they're so random that I'm not gonna add them because you won't know what they are. Some of these we pay monthly, some of them we pay just once a year, but they're all pretty small, pretty affordable. So another reason that we have subscriptions in their own category group is because we put them at the bottom of our budget. Because if ever we were in a financial crisis and we needed to cancel a bunch of expenses, I mean, subscriptions are first to go. So if I'm trying to fund my spending plan further and further into the future, I wanna start by funding what's most important. I wanna start with the mortgage, the utilities, the gas, the groceries, everything for baby boy. And the last thing I wanna be funding each month is Disney Plus and a filter for our humidifier. Because if we really needed money in a pinch, we're cutting those. So that's part of the reason we keep it at the bottom. Oh, a category group I just made a whole video on and totally forgot about is definitely our holidays category, and it's kind of my favorite. I'm gonna move this below subscriptions, and again, I'm just gonna fill this out real quick. Now, I have a whole video I just came out with on this, so if you want to learn more about how we handle our holidays category, go watch that. I'm gonna reorder. I kind of did this in the opposite order that I should have. Now, we have a lot of savings categories, and I will include most, but not all. We'll work with the ones that are already here. So of course you gotta have a travel category. Now, if we were to plan a more specific vacation, we might create a whole category group just for that vacation. Like if we were going to Hawaii, I might create a Hawaii category group, add a category for the plane tickets, for the hotel, for food, for this, for that, because you wanna make sure you have all your bases covered, and I wanna fund everything as much as we think we need it funded. But for now, we just toss money in a generic travel category just to build up the funds, and then if we decide on a more specific trip, we'll break it out from there. Education, by choice? No. Car repair is a must. Home emergencies, you don't want to be caught off guard when the dishwasher starts leaking all over the kitchen. You do not. Home improvement, that's just, you know, we just bought a new sectional, that would go in there. We have a whole category for outdoor expenses, so if we need to fill up the lawnmower with gas. We actually just redid the whole garden bed out front. So we took the bricks, the mulch, the rocks from that category. This is also where we put our car insurance, which we pay every 6 months. And I drive just a beater of a car, and it's not gonna last that much longer. So we're working on a new car for me. We have some unruly trees that need to get taken care of. We don't know how to do it. And we are also hoping to add a pergola over our back patio, which we've been talking about for years and we still haven't done it. We have all the money, but we haven't done it. It's hard to pull the trigger on those things. Now, since we're down here, let me just explain how we handle our fun money. We both get a generic fun money category, same title as the category group, and we'll just kick off targets with this section right here. We each get $200 a month to spend on whatever we want, however we want. We don't have to consult the other, we just get to spend it. Believe me, I do. So click the category. We're gonna add this as a monthly target. I need $200 by the end of the month. And here we have a few options. If you wanna put $200 in this category every single month, no matter what you spent the prior month, no matter what's left over in the category, choose set aside another $200. This means if I've only spent 5 of my fun money dollars, which would never happen, and I click into May and I still have $195 left, the target is gonna prompt me to set aside another $200. So now I'm gonna have $395 in my fun money category for the month of May. Now, if you have a expiration system where if you don't spend your fun money, it's gone, sorry, you missed out, and we're starting back at 200 at the start of a new month, you're gonna wanna choose refill up to 200. So in the scenario where I only spent $5 this month, which would never happen in a million years, if we got to May, YNAB is only gonna prompt me to put $195 more in there instead of the full 200, because total there will be 200 available in May. So we're gonna save that, and I'm gonna add the same target right here. 200 every month by the last day of the month, set aside another 200 each time. So this is generally how we handle our budget. Now comes the fun part where we add all of our targets. And I'm not gonna make you sit through all of this, but if there's anything noteworthy, I'll stop and point it out. Now the mortgage, we are gonna create a target for now. Let's say our mortgage is $1,800. I don't know what normal is these days. Ours is weirdly due on the 14th, and I need to make sure I have $1,800 set aside every month for the mortgage. We're not doing that refill game. So we're gonna save that. Now later, we're gonna link this category to our mortgage account, and that'll be awesome, but for now, we're doing it this way. The electric bill is one of those things where some months it's $85, some months it's $150. We've always put $125 in our electricity. I don't know what day it's due, maybe the 21st. So rather than refilling up to $125, I wanna make sure any money we don't spend in our electricity category stays in that category for those higher spend months like July, August, September, where we're really pumping that AC. So I'm gonna choose set aside $125 more. Also, all our utility categories are also kind of our overspending coverage categories. For instance, if I way overspend on groceries and I need to cover that overspending, the first place I go after we've paid all our utilities for the month, I go to our electric bill, I scrape up any money from there. I go to our water bill, scrape up any money from there. So they serve a lot of purpose. Also, just wanted to say, if you don't choose to add a due date, if you just leave it at the last day of the month, this is totally fine. You don't need the due dates in there, but if you're a big fan of using auto assign, if you want auto assign to know how to prioritize your categories, let's say money's tight, and it really matters that you're funding the bills due first before you're funding the bills due at the end of the month. Adding the actual date that the bill is due is very important because using an auto assign button like underfunded will say, hey, the mortgage is due on the 14th, but water's only due on the 23rd. So we're gonna put our money toward the mortgage first before we put any money toward the water. So if you've ever wondered how important those are, that's about how important they are. Now that all my bills have due dates, I like to rearrange them in order of when they're due. Although weird thing that I have, the mortgage always has to be at the top. It's just the most important. I always want to make sure our house is taken care of before literally anything else is taken care of because nothing seems as important as having a roof over your head. So that's how we do that. Next, add your flexi category targets, whatever you want them to be. Now, this disc golf one is not actually a monthly target. We determined at the start of the year how much Mac will need to spend on tournaments, and we just didn't even put a target on the category. We just dumped that much money in the category. So I'm intentionally gonna leave the target off of this one. For eating out, a lot of people like to do a weekly target. We don't eat out hardly ever. So we just do like a monthly amount. And this is another category where we do like the money to roll over. We do mostly overspend this, but if we don't spend the full 100, we consider that a bonus to next month. So I'm gonna set aside another $100 every month instead of just refilling up to 100. Another weird thing I have, miscellaneous has to be at the bottom because it can't be categorized. It's miscellaneous. Doesn't matter where it is in the alphabet, it's at the bottom. Now for groceries, we just set a monthly target and we do the same amount every week, except the last week always gets a little bit more because it has a few extra days in there. Now, if $100 looks scarce, it is. We need to bump this up. We overspend these categories every single month. But actually, I will say we just started doing a HelloFresh subscription because mom does not have time to pick out recipes, make a grocery list, get to the store. I love cooking dinner. That to me is therapy. That is the break I need at the end of a day. But I don't need to spend an hour, 2, 3 every week picking out recipes, making a list, going to the store. So HelloFresh has been about $80 every week. So I need to reconfigure how we do our grocery section and how HelloFresh fits into that. So even though this is a subscription, it is primarily groceries. So I'm gonna stick it in here and we're gonna create a weekly target. I know that it's about $85 a week and it is charged every Monday. So probably I would say we will reduce these to 50 a week because we are just buying breakfast and lunch supplies. That's really all we need. So maybe this will be, well, maybe we keep it at 50. We'll do it at 65. There's always some overspending. So we are spending a little more on groceries now with HelloFresh than we were before, but it's so worth it. I'm gonna keep going. Now, baby boy's money category is another one where I'm not gonna add a target because it's not like we're giving him an allowance. This is just where we're gonna keep the money that's given to him as a gift, money that's his. Now here's where we get to our annual savings goals. We switched from a very expensive tax filing software this year where we were spending over $100 every time to one that is, it cost us $22 this year, not to brag, but. So just because inflation is real, I'm gonna set a target for $30 for next year. And that is so small, but it is a known expense. It makes me feel so much better when the money comes out of this category and not takes a huge chunk out of our miscellaneous category. So of course I'm gonna make its own category. Everything should have its own category. When in doubt, give it its own category. So we filed our taxes in February, so I'll say we need it by February 1st, of next year. My bad. I don't even know what year it is right now, if I'm being honest. And next year I do wanna set aside another $30. Actually, do I? No, if we don't spend the full 30, I wanna refill. Nice. We're gonna save that. Disney Plus, I can't remember what it costs, but I think we pay like in November and I think it's $140. Does that sound right to anyone else? We're gonna go with that for now. And we have friends that we share an account with, they all pitch in, but we wanna make sure to have the money we need to pay the bill when it comes, and then we divide the number by whoever all is using the account, and we send out Venmo requests for that amount. Now, we get sent new humidifier filters every month and a half, every 45 days, which is kind of weird. And we get charged $13 when we get sent them. So what I'm gonna do is divide the $13 by the 6 weeks, because it gets sent every 6 weeks. That's $2.16. I'm gonna times that by 4. So we should be putting $8.60 in this category every month in order to have the $13 every 6 weeks. This is another one. It's 54, well, we're rounded up to $55 every 3 months. So we're gonna divide that by 3 and we're gonna drop $18.33 in this category every month. I'm gonna keep going through gifts. We like to have $100 for everyone's birthday. So rather than messing with the dates, I actually just divide $100 by the 12 months of the year. And that tells me $8.33 is how much I need to drop in each of these birthday categories every month. Now my car insurance is charged every 6 months. So custom, if it's $1,000, which I know, right? We wanna set aside that amount every single time it renews. It's due, I think, in November, and we're gonna have it repeat every 6 months. Okay, we've added all of our targets. So our spending plan is fully fleshed out. Next, we're gonna add our accounts because now it's time to actually take the money we have and apply it to our plan. Now, this is a good time to mention that if you and your partner don't wanna combine bank accounts, with YNAB, you actually don't have to because all your money it filters into one spending plan and you can divvy it out from there. It's also another good time to mention that if you don't wanna have a savings account, you technically don't have to. It's also a good time to mention that if you like to use credit cards worry-free, you can with YNAB. Now we're just gonna keep adding these accounts. We both have a checking, we both have a savings, and we both have one credit card. And again, these numbers are not real. How fun would it be though if all of our bank accounts were totally even numbers? Now in our actual budget, we have these really linked, but for the sake of demoing, I'm not going to link my real bank accounts because that would be way too much personal information. So we're gonna leave them unlinked for now. We're also gonna add our mortgage. Now let's see. No, we're actually gonna call this mortgage. Now we're gonna select the mortgage account type because here we can put what the current account balance is. Let's say, I don't know, $250. Let's say the interest rate is 4%. I know that's not accurate these days, and let's say the monthly payment required by our lender was that $1,800 that we set our target for on our mortgage category. Next, it's gonna ask a few questions. Is escrow included in your mortgage payment? For us, yes. We have our mortgage payment and a way too much of a chunk of it goes to escrow. Another way too much of a chunk of it goes to interest, and then a little bitty nice amount goes to the principal. Gotta love America, am I right? So let's say the monthly escrow is like $500 goes into your escrow account out of your monthly mortgage payment. We already created a mortgage category, so we are going to pair those together. Way to go. And we have successfully added our mortgage. Feel free to add any other loans that you have. But now is time to assign all of our dollars. When you add your accounts, these are the dollars that we're gonna assign to our spending plan. They all add up to your total amount. That amount is in your ready to assign, and we're gonna divvy these out to the plan. Now, a tool I wanna show you really quick, these auto assign buttons are an amazing way to assign your dollars super quickly with just one click of a button. We have all these different options, but my favorite is the underfunded button. What this does is considers all of the targets within the current month and will fund any targets that have yet to be fully funded the rest of the way. So here I can see across my whole spending plan with all the targets we added, it's gonna cost about $71, almost $7,200 to fund a month of our lives. Now, if that sounds like a lot, remember, this is including saving for vacation. This is including car repairs, home repairs. You are still going to be building your money. You're not spending this money every month. But we want to allocate our dollars to the jobs we want them to do. So just as much as I need some of my dollars to pay the mortgage, I also need some of my dollars to start saving up for when the home breaks, when the car breaks, when we want to go on a trip. So I'm gonna click underfunded. It's gonna tell me all 62 of these categories are gonna be funded according to the targets that I set. I'm gonna assign money. And now we can see our fully funded plan for April. Now it took that $7,200 out of our ready to assign and moved it out to our spending plan, which means we have almost $23,000 left to assign to our plan. So I'm gonna do a little creating a cushion. I'm gonna create a cushion. I'm gonna go down to my savings category group. Now, one cool thing I could do, if I just wanna fully fund this pergola, we set a $1,000 goal. If I wanna just fully fund it right now, I can just edit the assigned amount, fund that pergola, and now we're not worrying about it anymore. Same with the tree trimming. We wanted $300, assign it right now. Now this savings goal is fully funded. We can trim that tree whenever we want. But with my almost $22,000 we have left, I'm gonna do some stuff. I'm gonna drop 5,000 of this into a category for a new car for me. We definitely want a good cushion for home emergencies. So maybe I'm gonna press the plus button and I'm gonna add $2,200 more to this. For travel, I'm just gonna start it out at $2,000. For car repairs, I'm gonna start it out at $2,000. So this is pretty good. I feel like things are funded as much as we want. If I wanted to fully fund the car seat, I could do that as well, because might as well. We're gonna need to buy that sooner rather than later. Oh, also, baby boy did get a $25 Christmas check from great grandma, so we're gonna add that. Maybe I'll do a peek over, make sure any categories that didn't have a target are good. I need to drop $300 in this category for tournaments, and that looks good. Now we have about $10,000 left over. What am I gonna do with this money? I'm going to secure my future. We're gonna click into the next month, May. I'm just gonna take this money and I'm gonna fully fund May. It looks like it'll be almost $6,700 to fund the full month of May. That's including all your savings category, but it is less money than last month, and that's because we went ahead and fully funded some of those savings categories like the pergola, the tree trimming, and the car seat. So now it's only gonna take about $6,800 to fund May. If I wanna click this button, I can do it, fund the whole plan at once. In fact, let's do it, assign money to the whole plan. We'll see that we have $3,300 left. That's great. Again, I could pad more savings categories if I want, add more money to the new car, whatever I wanna do. But I'm gonna keep pushing this money into the future because the more I have my future funded, the more secure I'm gonna feel. One thing I'm noticing though, I'm realizing that I set these targets up wrong. Let's go ahead and edit this. I set it to have a $100 balance, like total. That's wrong. Instead, I'm gonna change this to add $100 every single month. And as we can see, when we change that target, it now said, hey-oh, you're missing some money. We need to add $100 to this. So we're also gonna fix our car repair target. I set this up wrong. We don't want $150 total. We want $150 added every single month. So I'm gonna save that target. Now I can select both of these categories. They're both $100 and $150 short. If you select a unique selection of categories, maybe a focused view, a category group, your auto-assign buttons will change based on the categories you have selected. So now these two categories together are $250 underfunded. We wanna fund them all the way, so I'm gonna click underfunded. And now we have our fully funded categories. This all looks pretty good. Now we still have these $3,000 left. I'm gonna move into June and I'm gonna assign what we have left as far as we can. I'm gonna scroll up to the top of the budget. I'm gonna select bills. Our bills total are about almost $2,500, so we can fund all of those. That's awesome. It feels so good to have the mortgage funded all the way through June. Next, I'm gonna select my Flexi category group and see how far it takes us. Now, here's the issue. We have $3,100 to assign, but these categories will take $3,400 to fund. Now, we never wanna use the underfunded button if the number on the underfunded button is higher than the number we have in ready to assign. What I'm gonna do in this scenario is I'm just gonna start deselecting categories until this underfunded button is under $3,113.54. We're almost there. Makeup isn't gonna do it. Household goods, not quite. Hospitality, yes. Now we can see the underfunded button. The number is less than what we actually have. So we're gonna click underfunded. It's going to fund all these categories we have selected. We have $3.54 left. I'm just gonna pop that into my hospitality category and I'm gonna continue finishing funding this whenever we get our next paycheck. Let's say I get paid in a week. I'm gonna add it here, employer. We're gonna put it in our ready to assign category, paycheck for second half of April. And let's say my paycheck is $2,000. We're gonna save that. We're gonna head back to our spending plan. And now we get to do it all over again. My spending plan is still in June, so I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna select my flexi category. It's only gonna take $326 to fund this the rest of the way. So now I'm gonna add my groceries. I'm gonna add baby boy. I'm gonna keep adding things until the number on underfunded is bigger than the number in ready to assign. We can't do everything for Julep we wanna do, so I'm gonna backtrack until I'm under $2,000. Almost. Okay, here we go. We're gonna click underfunded. We have $75.86 left. So I'm gonna put that, oh no. I just realized that I said Julep's dog food as needing $70 a week instead of $70 a month. This is a great learning example. So let's change that to monthly. Now we only need $70 a month. Let's go back to April, okay? Now we can see Julep's dog food category has $210 in it. No. This is a great time to use the reduce overfunding button. We put too much money in here, way more than our target requires. So if I click reduce overfunding, it's gonna remove all that extra money. It's just gonna satisfy my target and move everything we didn't need in this category back up to ready to assign. Now I'm gonna do the same thing for May, because I know the same thing happened there. Reduce overfunding. And now we're gonna click into June, and guess what, my dogs? Now we have $425 to keep assigning out to our plan. So we'll add in pup supplies, we'll add in boarding, the vet, we're getting close to $425. If you have another way of assigning your dollars, that's cool. This is how I like to do it. Is this old school? Probably. Do I love it? Yes. The shower head was a little too much, so we're gonna backtrack and we're just gonna add in our remaining $24.53. We need 47 more cents to meet this target. Wow. But moving back to April, that is pretty much how we do it. Now, there are other things to learn about in YNAB. I could teach you about handling credit cards. I could teach you how to add more loan accounts, but we have plenty of videos on those, new videos being made all the time. So if you have questions on more things you want to learn about, how do you do this? How do you handle that? Please let me know down below in the comments. We are happy to make a video on anything you have questions about. But this is how I would make a budget from start to finish. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you got something helpful out of this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, I debuffed. Where is it? What the heck? I'm one of those people who has a literal different password for every single login I have, and I'm very proud of it, but it also means I can't log into anything without my phone.